I remember the gavel striking the desk like a death sentence. All marital assets will be awarded to Mrs. Thompson, the judge declared. His voice flat and disinterested, as though he were deciding the fate of someone else's life, not mine. I didn't flinch. Not a twitch. Not a breath out of rhythm. Because 3 weeks earlier I had already moved it all. 6 months ago, I would have called myself a lucky man. Julia and I had been married for 9 years. 9 years of shared routines, quiet breakfasts, Friday movie nights, and the kind of inside jokes only long-term couples understand. I thought we were steady. Not perfect, but steady. Then I found the text. I wasn't snooping. I had borrowed her phone to order dinner while mine was charging. The screen lit up with a message preview. Tonight was amazing. I can still taste the wine on your lips. My stomach turned to stone. I scrolled up. There were weeks of messages. Flirtations turned to meetings. Meetings turned to hotel bookings. Her lover wasn't a stranger. He was my old college friend, Eric. That night, I sat across from Julia at dinner, watching her twirl her pasta, smiling as though nothing was unraveling behind her calm blue eyes. She told me about her day at the office. I nodded in all the right places. My mouth said, "That sounds good," but my heart was silent. I didn't confront her. Not then. I wanted to understand first. The following weeks were a blur of careful observation. I saved screenshots of messages when she left her phone unattended. I checked hotel receipts, tracked her GPS location through our shared family account. Each new discovery was a knife, but I bore it with quiet stillness. One evening when she claimed she was working late, I followed her car. I parked 3 blocks away from the hotel and sat in the dark, watching the lobby doors until she emerged with him. Their laughter carried across the street. He kissed her forehead like she was his prize, not my wife. I didn't cry. Not then. That came later in the shower, where the water could disguise the sound. The confrontation came quietly. "Julia," I said one Sunday morning, sliding a cup of coffee toward her at the table. "Who's Eric to you?" Her spoon paused midway to her lips. She blinked, feigning confusion. "Eric? You mean Eric from college?" "He's just a friend." "Don't," I interrupted, my voice calm but firm. "Don't lie to me." For a moment, the air between us was taut like a wire about to snap. Then she sighed, set the spoon down, and rubbed her temples. "I didn't want it to come to this," she whispered. "I was going to tell you. I'm not happy, David. I haven't been for a long time. With him, I feel alive again." Alive. The word stung more than any confession could. "How long?" I asked. 6 months. "Do you love him?" Her silence was answer enough. The divorce papers arrived 2 weeks later. She wanted the house, half my business, the cars, the savings, everything. Her lawyer was ruthless, hers a calculated move, mine a panicked reaction. I could have fought harder, but I didn't. Because I had already started my own war. See, I built my company from scratch. The woodworking shop was my pride, my late nights and early mornings, my blood and sweat. But over the years I learned how fragile assets can be. So I created a separate holding company, one only my accountant and I knew the full details of. By the time the court hearings began, every valuable asset, stocks, liquid savings, equipment, even the intellectual property, was already under that shell company. On paper, I was just a man with a modest salary and a half-empty house. Julia thought she was bleeding me dry. I let her believe it. In the courtroom, she wore a black dress and a mask of practiced sorrow. Eric sat behind her, pretending to be moral support. Her lawyer painted me as controlling, emotionally distant, a man who failed to provide affection and intimacy. I didn't fight it. My own lawyer asked a few obligatory questions, nothing more. The judge made his decision in under 15 minutes. All marital assets to Mrs. Thompson. I caught her smirk as the gavel struck. She thought she'd won the war. After the ruling, she approached me in the hallway. "I hope we can be civil about this," she said, her tone almost patronizing. "No need to make it uglier than it was." I stared at her for a moment, at the woman I once loved, the woman who shared my bed, my dreams, my quiet Sunday mornings. You got what you wanted, I replied softly. I hope it makes you happy. She mistook my calm for defeat. The weeks that followed were a strange mix of liberation and ache. I moved out of the house before the order forced me to. Took only what was mine by memory. A few clothes, my father's watch, a box of old photographs. The house, the cars, the accounts, empty shells now. She tried to liquidate assets that no longer existed in her name. My company, the true one, thrived quietly under its new identity. The clients followed me, not the paper trail. I heard from a mutual friend that she and Eric planned to sell the house and move abroad. But when the bank statements came in, when the accounts reflected only crumbs, when the victory turned to dust in her hands, that's when the first calls started. David, we need to talk, her voicemail said one night. Then, 2 days later, I don't understand what happened. The lawyer said I'd have access. And finally, desperation. Please, can we meet? Just explain it to me. I didn't respond. It wasn't about revenge, not really. It was about something colder, quieter, balance. She'd chosen her path. I'd simply stepped aside and let the ground shift under her feet. One rainy evening, months after the court ruling, I found myself driving past our old house. The windows were dark. A "for sale" sign leaned crookedly in the yard. I parked across the street and sat there for a long while, watching the rain bead on the windshield. I remembered the life we built there. The smell of coffee on cold mornings, the squeak of the stair rail she always meant to fix, the way her laughter used to fill the halls before it soured. For a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. The last message she ever sent came late one night. I don't know what I did to make you hate me this much. I just wanted to be happy. I thought you'd be fine, you always land on your feet. But now, I've lost everything. I didn't reply. Because I didn't hate her. Hate would have meant I still cared enough to feel that deeply. What I felt was emptiness, and then, eventually, peace. It's been 8 months now. The shop runs better than ever. I moved to a smaller place by the coast. Nothing fancy, just quiet. I wake up early, walk the shore, let the wind bite my face. Sometimes I wonder if she lies awake at night, thinking about what she could have done differently. Sometimes I wonder if Eric is still there, or if he ran when the money dried up. But mostly I don't wonder at all. Because I learned something in that courtroom. Something in the way she smiled when she thought she'd taken everything from me. People who betray you rarely want your heart. They want your foundation. And if you're smart, you learn to build your foundation where their hands can't reach. The last time I saw her was by chance, at a grocery store downtown. She looked tired, older somehow, as if the months had carved lines around her mouth that hadn't been there before. She froze when she saw me. "David," she whispered, almost like a plea. I nodded politely. "Julia, you really moved everything, didn't you?" I met her eyes. Once familiar, now foreign. "I protected what was mine. You tried to take what wasn't yours." Tears welled up in her eyes, but I didn't stay to see them fall. I pushed my cart forward, the wheels squeaking on the linoleum floor, and for the first time in nearly a year I felt lighter. Not victorious, not vengeful, just free.